I miss those days when new companies were trying to compete with big players in the smartphone market by launching top specs phones at nearly 1/3 of flagship devices. Perhaps that's why they used to call themselves as flagship killers. OnePlus was one such company, but now you know how the company is playing in the market. However, Realme is still trying to continue this fight, and they have recently launched their latest flagship device, Realme GT 5G, which is one of the cheapest Snapdragon 888 phones you can buy right now. So can this really take the fight to its more competitive rivals, or is this the ultimate flagship killer? Let's find out. My name is Dinesh Dev Sharma and you're watching Mashable India. Design is something very subjective as it depends on individual tastes. But in our opinion, the design of the Realme GT 5G is quite refreshing. Although if you're thinking about buying a Realme GT 5G, you have options. You can either pick it up in a traditional finish with a glass back and a polished plastic frame, or you can switch out the glass for the racing yellow dual-tone leather design which sports a vegan leather on the rear panel. It simply makes the device back smudge-free and looks premium too. As compared to the glossy back, this design attracted us more. Also, the phone is lightweight and can be handled easily with one hand, and you also get a good grip. I'm happy that Realme doesn't go down the route of slapping huge letters on the back, "Dare to Leap," on this device. So let's thank the designing team for this. But yeah, they could have subtly put the GT branding on the device. It's like buying a GT model of a car without badge on the boot. One of the most striking aspects of the Realme GT is the 120Hz Full HD Plus AMOLED display, which looks pretty similar to the panel found on the Mi 11X Pro. It's large and vibrant with fairly minimal bezels at the edges of the 6.43-inch display. Despite having a large screen, I found the GT to be slim and easy to handle. It's a fairly modest 186 gram, partially thanks to a plastic frame. You can't have everything at this price, so although there is a headphone jack, the Realme GT offers no form of waterproofing. The Realme GT 5G's main camera module features a 64 megapixel Sony IMX682 sensor matched with a f1.8 26mm wide-angle lens. We have seen this primary camera before on the Poco X3 and the last year's Realme 7 series, so you know what to expect. That said, this is the first time it's combined with a Snapdragon 888 chipset. But if you're thinking of picking up the Realme GT for its camera, then like any budget flagship, you might be a tad disappointed. The primary 64 megapixel camera produces fairly good images with rich, vibrant colors that pop. It's just on the very cusp of color accurate to my eye. Images look sharp and crisp with 64 megapixel sensor allowing for some good image depth. But the white balance sometimes suffers. The secondary ultra-wide is very average with an immediately noticeable drop down in quality. Images can be very soft and there is even a little vignetting in the image fringes. Okay, so now let's talk about the specs and performance. But before that, it's a request that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do it right now and hit the like button. The Realme GT 5G is powered by a Snapdragon 888 chipset paired with 8GB or 12GB RAM. It has more power than some modern day flagships. Running Android 11 with Realme's interface Realme UI 2.0 over the top, the phone also sports a more reliable interface than its competitors, with no UI adverts. And with its 4500 mAh battery, which charges at up to 65 watt from a 0 to 100% in 35 minutes, it lasts a day with moderate use. With 12GB of RAM and top-tier Snapdragon chipset packed inside, the Realme GT has all of the prerequisites needed for exceptional performance. Whether you want to use it for gaming, video streaming, recording 4K at 60 FPS video, the Realme GT doesn't skip a beat. Everything seems to happen at the blink of an eye. Apps load instantly, games run at the highest settings with a solid frame rates, and the 120Hz refresh rate just aids the feeling of speed. Overall, the Realme GT 5G is a fantastic phone that offers high-end specs at a reasonable price. With a Snapdragon 888 chipset, Super AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate and 65W fast charging, it's the first phone in a while that has truly bridged the gap between flagship and mid-range devices, like OnePlus used to do so well. But there are things that separate the GT from the flagships like Samsung's Galaxy S21 and OnePlus 9 range. The lack of things like waterproofing and wireless charging and not so good camera performance will make you think twice before buying this phone.